I think I'm going to create a new playlist, and for you guys that know the Nutnfancy project, i.e. TNP, that's just what I call it, stupid as it is, I try really hard to make accurate playlists to get you prospective buyers of different gear, whether it's knives, guns, backpacks, binoculars, whatever. I try to separate my playlists as accurately as possible so you can get to the information quickly. I think I'm going to make a brand new playlist called Recommended Deployment Knives or something along those lines. Maybe soldier knives. That would be good. And this is one of them. Welcome to my review of the SOG Gov-Tac fixed blade knife. And yes, I think it would be an outstanding soldier choice for deployment. If you're a troop in Afghanistan, Iraq, and I know I've said this about some other blades, and I'll stand by those reviews as well, but this is yet another option for you to go out into dangerous areas and defend your life with. SOG Gov-Tac. I'm digging it. I've had it for a couple months now. I've been studying it. I haven't really gone out and done hard use with it yet. However, I have enough use with its sibling and predecessor, the SOG Government Agent, which is pretty much in a lot of ways my reference for a medium-sized blade. Survival/tactical blade. And now that we're here, let's talk about the POU on this, the philosophy of use. I do indeed feel that the SOG Gov-Tac is just that. It is a medium-sized tactical and survival blade, and it would serve adequately in both roles, definitely, and I love it. There's a lot of cool features about this knife that I'm going to go over in this review, and while I do it, I'm going to tell you how it basically stopped my sadness, just kidding, about how the SOG Government Agent was discontinued. I was bummed when SOG said, you know what, no more on the Government Agent. Bummed. And there are a lot of great SOG blades, I know that. I've reviewed several of them. The Tech Bowie, beautiful knife, well balanced, just a nice blade shape. But I still had a soft spot, still do, for the SOG Government Agent because it's so lightweight, size efficient, has a good sheath with it. So many reasons. I haven't done a dedicated review on the SOG Government Agent. I have brought it into some other reviews. And this is it, of course, is one of my agents. And I still maintain it's a wonderful medium-sized fixed blade knife. And someone said when I against my Rat 4 by Rat Cutlery, the RC4, they said, "Oh, what else do you recommend that would be cheaper?" Well, you're looking at it. And in my opinion, this is, well, the steel's not so great. AUS-6, but it's definitely a viable option against other knives and more capable than a 4-inch blade with its 6-inch blade. So we'll go, as I go along, I'm going to talk about the SOG Government Agent, but this is the Gov-Tac's moment in the sunshine, so to speak. The cool thing about it is that it's available in a variety of finishes, at least two, and that's a bead blasted finish, which I opted for, or you can get the black titanium nitride, or tiny finish on that if you want. And I like the bead blast. Now the bead blast has a disadvantage as you go in and out of your Kydex holster. It's going to show rub marks, and I don't care. That's just the way it works. And I've had that on a lot of other blades, kind of like that Boker Desert Dagger. I have a review out there that has really distinct rub marks from the holster. No big deal, but that's just something that you need to be aware of. Silver or black, the choice is yours. I have plenty of black blades, dudes, so I want to go silver on this one. So, POU, talked about it already. We may mention a few things as we go along. How about the blade shape on that? And again, let's compare it against the predecessor, the SOG Government Agent. Now, I say predecessor, that's just Nutnfancy. These knives are very similar in size. They're very similar in weight. The blade lengths are identical, as you can see. Therefore, I feel the Government Agent is indeed the predecessor to the Gov-Tac. But in some ways, it's better. And again, we'll get to that. But the blade shape on it is a modified Bowie blade shape. Now, whereas the Government Agent had kind of a flat ground blade, midsection coming down. And again, on mine, what did I do? Well, I reground that upper clip and sharpened it, had it done, and it's freaking razor sharp. I love it. Because to me, this is more of a fighting knife, a mid-sized fighting knife option, and I like that. If I'm primarily intending it to be a survival knife, I generally will not sharpen my upper clips because I'm going to be batoning it through wood, banging it right through here. So haven't decided which route the Gov-Tac is going to go, but it kind of lends itself to not being sharpened just due to the blade grind. Let's look at the thicknesses of the blade, and indeed the Gov-Tac is a thicker blade, 0.2 2/10 of an inch thick. I forget exactly the thickness on the Gov-Tac, but you can see it here. So it's a thicker blade, and I like that. That means it's going to be a little bit more capable in its survival role. So it has a survival efficiency and combat capability as well in that thicker blade. I think it would baton through wood quite nicely, given the limitations of the 6-inch blade. I mean, it's not an all-out huge blade to go hacking a tree down with. Can do it. It's a lot of work. Pretty much will guarantee you that. Also, this blade is actually hollow ground, if I'm not mistaken. If I can feel and detect the hollow grinding from a little bit above the midsection going on down. By the way, that blackness you see is coming off of the Kydex sheath. It fits tightly, and it's just going to kind of shave off some Kydex as it's inserted and retracted, and that's just how it goes with the Gov-Tac. And again, I don't care. That's just normal wear and tear. I don't worship my blades. I take care of them as best I can, but I definitely don't worship them. And so normal wear and tear is okay, generally. Nice belly right here, so that would lend itself to defensive tasks. Heaven forbid you should ever have to use it that way. And a very nice tip on it. See how reinforced that tip is? And let's compare that against the Government Agent. And you can see the Government Agent, as cool as it is, it does have a more delicate tip to it due to the narrowness of the blade, and it terminates in a much more gradual point, which would it make it a better piercing knife? Yeah, probably, definitely with that sharpened upper clip, no doubt. However, the Gov-Tac will be no slouch in that regards either, I would think. Also, having that thicker blade, having more weight forward, while I said it will not be like, a tournament level hacker, for a mid-sized knife, it will do quite well. And will I take this out in the wilderness, a knife clinic, and use it? Yeah, I think I will, because I want to prove that to myself. And stand by for the videos. It may take me a while to do that, but I can pretty much guarantee I'll take this Gov-Tac out and thrash on it. Has some, let me use for my pointer, I don't know. How about this Voyager, since it's handy? It's got some of these longitudinal grooves in here. Those don't really serve any purpose. I mean, some people say, well, it makes the blade more rigid. I think it's mostly a design feature for looks. Of course, the Government Agent had no such horizontal grooves. No big deal, though. I think they're cool. But, do they add rigidity? I doubt it. Anytime we remove material from solid stock, I think it's less rigid, but less of a factor in this knife. So overall, the blade shape, I'm extremely happy with it. I love it. It's effective. It's not funky. It's classic, and it's not, transitional, so to speak. In other words, it's just a trend. I don't like trendy blade shapes that are popular one year and they go out of style the next year. It'll work. Nice jimping here. Look at that. Now, what's that for? Is that a saw? I wouldn't say so. I think it's just thumb jimping. And guess what? It's very effective. Great purchase on your thumb if you decide to go past the very adequately sized and shaped solid stainless steel double guard. I don't really see a need for having to do that. Even on a thrust attack in survival use, don't see a need for it. But they have it up there for, I don't know if you needed it. Now, in a pinch, I think we could, if we're making a survival trap, we could use that to notch out a limb or something to make a trigger device, and might do that. A little bit of a cutout in the choil area here. And that takes us to our handle. Nice Kraton handle. Compared against the the Government Agent, very similar in execution, although I will say I like the Gov-Tac better. It's more hand-filling, as you can see, therefore it's more ergonomic compared against the Government Agent. The Government Agent is thin, and I'll tell you, it feels good in hand. It's fast, reverse grip, very nice, happens very quickly, and that's another thing I love about the Agent. It's just such a quick blade. The Gov-Tac, maybe a little bit more hand-filling due to the radius, or the shaping of the handle, as you can see here. Same Kraton grip material, And guys lately have been saying, well, Kraton sucks. It's going to wear out, because I think in some of my videos I mentioned the durability issues on my Cold Steel Trailmaster and Recon Scouts. It will wear, but I mean, dude, you're going to have to go out and wear it a lot, you know, for it to smooth out on you. I have a little bit of radiusing on the checkering on this Kraton grip from my use. I wouldn't worry about it too much. Go ahead and wear it out. You can always peel it off and put some 550 cord, maybe a micarta handle on it. Not a huge deal. And Kraton's a very comfortable material to use in the woods too. If it gets wet, it just grips nicely. It absorbs some of the chalk if we're hacking with it. Very good grip if we're in a thrust attack. Even if you get blood on it, Kraton will give you some purchase. Where a lot of handle materials will let you down, I think Kraton, even though it's not the most durable, it offers a lot of advantages. And it also insulates from the cold. If your blade gets really cold, like in sub-zero temperatures, Kraton works very nicely. I talked about the guard already. It will prevent your hand from coming forward on attack. Compared to the SOG Government Agent guard, it's better. It's larger and it's more purposeful. Now, it does add a little bit of weight, and the weight of the Gov-Tac is just a little bit more. Overall, 13.4 ounces versus the very svelte 11.8 ounces entire package. I'm talking knife and sheath of the SOG Government Agent. Not a showstopper. Both knives, again, relatively lightweight for what you're getting, definitely. And in both knives, and I love this, why don't more people do this with their freaking knives? Have a hammer butt. Why is that important? Well, look at my deer snare videos. I made that trigger using 2 nails, and what did I hammer with? The KaBar I had, which also has a hammer-capable butt section in it. So I like having that option, and it doesn't, add hardly any weight on an already full tank knife design. Why don't we have it? To me, the Gov-Tac is a little bit more capable of an outdoor blade than perhaps a SOG Tech Bowie. That's just me. The Tech Bowie is such a beautiful knife. I hate to take it out and thrash on it, and to me it's kind of more of a collectible. That's just me. The Gov-Tac seems like it's more business oriented. Now, that being said, the Gov-Tac is no slouch in the looks department. I like these gray spacers they have in the handle between the crossguard and the butt. Very nice. Nice attention to detail. Just beautiful. By the way, AUS 8 steel versus AUS 6 steel. And I always had a criticism against SOG by making AUS 6 steel their preferred steel of choice for this government agent. Why did they do that? AUS 6 steel, and I'm not a steel expert, there's a lot more guys that know a lot more about it and have a lot more, fanciful preferences than Nutnfancy. I'm a general steel guy. I have a good idea what I like, what works for me. But I will tell you that AUS 6 is not my favorite steel. I find it, and not in this knife. I actually think the tempering in the SOG Agent is actually pretty decent. The heat treatment, and it's been decent for me. But in other blades that use AUS 6, very soft. Have not been pleased with it. So yeah, I'd much prefer the higher quality AUS 8. Granted, it's not the most stain resistant steel out there. It will rust on you. Keep it oiled. But at least it's a stainless steel, and it does fairly well. I think it's fairly shock resistant too for thumping around. I'll prove that in the Gov-Tac as years go on, I guess. How about the sheaths on this? Well, let's go back to the days of the Government Agent. Had this very nice Kydex sheath on it. I love that. I think it was excellent. Slipped in easily. It had, your little nylon cross strap. Kind of a disadvantage because as you retract your blade, if it's razor sharp, which, hello, all my knives are, you can cut that easily. This could be cut. And also it kind of rotates around, which is a little bit hokey, but minor issues. Drains well. Kydex, of course, does not absorb and hold water. I've said that about 1 billion times. It's my preferred sheath material, or a plastic. Either Kydex or plastic, I don't care. Then it has a quick attach. I can't snap these off easily, but you can attach that to your web belt or to your LBE gear if you're a hunter on the side. I love that. That was cool. So good sheath with a government agent. Now the Gov-Tac, good news is it's just as good, if not better. It's made out of Kydex as well. Now the government agent kind of had a loud sheath, even locked in. A little bit of a rattle, so as a soldier that might be a factor. You might have to take some measures to solve that. Like I said earlier, the Gov-Tac fits in its sheath nice and tight. It will loosen up with use. but all of SOG's knife sheaths are pretty tight as they come to you. But nice logo right here. Very trim as they can make it. Also quick attach, but instead of using that proprietary fold-over Kydex with a snap, instead they've opted for the American Sportsman's products quick attachment. And I've talked about this in other videos. I like it. It's an alternative to Blade Tech's Tech Lock system, and it seems to be working. Now, if you soldiers have some experience with this, using it hard, let us know in a comment and say, hey, yeah, this worked for me, it broke on me or not. Too wide to put in your MOLLE attachment, maybe a little bit, but going on a web belt, maybe your BDU belt, no problem. And I love it. It's quick attach. And notice how they blocked it out. So there's some distance between the sheath and here. That puts your blade away from your body and makes it easier to access. I like that. Another advantage is this will not migrate on a belt. This older version might have. This will lock onto a belt, pretty much. So I like it. It's a thick belt. And if it's too thin, yeah, it'll probably slide around a little bit. Riveted construction throughout and decent. I think there's your drain hole right there, so the water will drain out. I love the sheath on the Gov-Tac. Well done. And actually, I think it's, truth be told, and I hate to say this, but it's a better sheath than the old Government Agent sheath. Just by a small margin, but it is. It does not rattle. It's tight. Feel that? So again, great deployment knife. Man, it's just a cool knife. And it's affordable too. This is not an expensive knife. And again, I get to the high value knife option that Nutnfancy always talks about. We don't have to spend above $100 to get a really nice fixed blade knife. If you're looking for a medium sized, relatively lightweight, very capable blade, you know, your search is over. SOG Gov-Tac. OS-8 steel, bead blasted finish. You can go black with it. Oops, got to join these two clips together. My battery died. Talking about the different finishes. Yeah, you can get black, bead blasted. Love it. Balance, how's that? Nice balance on the Gov-Tac. It seems fast in hand. And unlike a lot of its competitors, it's got more reach if you're going to use this as a defensive / offensive blade. 6 inches versus 2 inches. This wins. And again, I'm referencing the RC4. And everyone's like, yeah, that's like the coolest medium-sized knife ever. Well, it is cool. I liked it a lot. But this has more reach and it's stainless versus RC4, which is not. I think this would be a much better jungle blade, truth be told. So there is not a lot that I do not like about the Gov-Tac. In fact, I can't really think of anything. It's a very nice blade. Very affordable, too, for what it is. I mean, well under $100 if you search around. Maybe around $100. Depends on where you're getting it from. Yourcornerstore.com is currently my favorite. Get it fast. It'll probably sell out. Gov-Tac by SOG. It is another outstanding deployment blade and all-around fixed blade option for you woodsmen or sheepdogs out there. Great LBE knife. This is Nutnfancy. Thanks for tuning in. I'm so glad we got this knife since the agent went bye-bye. Come see me again real soon. You'll have more knife reviews, gun reviews, cool stuff reviews. Peace out.